Let's open the Fusion page. First of all, let's create a background. Shift spacebar, background, choose 4 corner and choose a color you prefer. For our text, shift spacebar as text, type what you prefer, change font and color, then go to shading. Enable tab 2 and change color of the outline. Toggle on clean intersection. Shift spacebar as outline. I've changed the border style and the thickness to 0.002. For the animation, right-click on position, modify width, anim curves. Click on modifiers, source duration, easing curve to make it smoother, and I chose quad for in and export for out. And toggle on mirror so that it automatically animates out. I did the same exact thing with the length. Right click, modify width, anim curves, source duration, easing curve, quad for in and export for out, and the mirror toggled on. Next, I added the S render, which is necessary when working with S shapes and S text. Then I added a soft glow and just slightly reduce the glow size. The next node is brightness and contrast, which I added in order to increase the gain and make it pop a bit more. One last animation is a soft pop of the text size. Go to text, frame 0 and keyframe it. Leave it at 0.08. Go to frame 10, another keyframe, still at 0.08 size. Frame 14, increase the size at around 0.11. And frame 16, decrease it at around 10.8. To make it smoother, go to spline, select them all, right click, is in our cubic. Now let's merge our text to our background and let's watch the result. Now it's time for a second text animation. Let's open the Fusion page, shift spacebar and let's create a background. Choose 4 corner and change colors the way you prefer. Now let's make another background, which is going to be our first outline. Let's change color to red, add a rectangle mask, and let's play around with width, height and corner radius according to the way we want it to look. Toggle off solid and increase the border width at around 0.002. Shift spacebar again and let's add a soft glow and change the settings according to your preferences. Now it's time for our orange outline. Let's add another background, add another rectangle mask, and let's change the color to orange. And let's change the width, height and corner radius according to the way we want it to look. Toggle off solid and increase the border width the way you prefer. I've set it to 0.002. Add a soft glow again and change the setting the way you prefer. And now let's merge them and add a transform node, which is going to be our controls for both the outlines. It's time for our text. Shift spacebar, text plus, merge it on top of our outlines, type what you prefer and change color, font and size. Copy and paste one of the soft glows and let's merge everything on top of our main background. Before doing the animation, let's rename everything to keep it all organized. Now let's animate the red outline. Go to the red mask, right click on length, modify width, anim curves, click on modifiers and change the source to duration and the curve to easing to make it smoother. Sign for in and elastic for out and mirror on so that it automatically animates out. Now right click on position, modify width, anim curves, click on modifiers, and here I choose pretty much the same settings, but I've also toggled on the invert button so that the movement differs from my orange outline. Now select the orange mask, right click on length, modify width, anim curves, click on modifiers and change the source to duration and the curve to easing. Sign for in and elastic for out and mirror on again. Now right click on position, modify with anim curves, click on modifiers and here shows pretty much the same settings, but I haven't toggled on the invert button. Now select the text node, right-click on Write On, connect to the yellow mask length. We're doing this because we want the animations to be connected to our red and orange masks. Then go to Shading, right-click on the opacity, and connect to the yellow mask length again. To control everything together, let's add a transform node after a last merge. As you can see here, there are these two dots at the beginning of our animation. To fix this, select the red mask, border style, and choose flat. The same goes for our orange outline mask. And now everything is done. Let's watch it. Oh yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? I forgot something very important, which is to add motion blur. For our first animation, click on the S Render settings, toggle on motion blur, and I usually set it at around 4. For our second animation, click on our Text Plus settings, toggle on motion blur, and the same goes for the masks of our outlines. Click on settings and toggle on motion blur for each one. But how do we save it so we can use it in the edit page? Select all your nodes except the media out. Make sure to select the Text Plus node as your first one, so that it is also the first one on the list. Right-click, macro, create macro, rename it the way you prefer, and now we're going to select the parameters we want to see in the edit page. But which parameters? Well, as you can see, I'm choosing those that are also displayed over here, and I'm stopping at line spacing because that's all we need for this simple animation. For the layout, we just need the center to move it around and the rotation if we're ever going to need it. Next, the shading, and I'm going to choose what we used, which is the element 1 and element 2. And as you can see from opacity 1, we have all the parameters of our element 1. When opacity 2 starts, we have the parameters for our element 2. For the outline, select it to see on our inspector, and as you can see, we just need the thickness because our position and length are automatically animated. We can also rename it if you want to. For a glow, select it and choose the parameters we want to display. For our brightness, the RGBA and our gain are all we need for this animation. The last one is a background, and here we want to select all of them until bottom right alpha, which is our last corner. To save it, click on the 3 dots, save as group, and I'm going to save it on the desktop for now. To use it in the edit page, this is where you have to save it, and this is a path to get there. I wrote down here the equivalent for Windows, at least according to ChatGPT. Save our macro here, go back to DaVinci and search for it. And as you can see, there's one tiny little problem. It's not organized. And to fix it, let's go back to our macro, right click, open with Text Edit for Mac or Notepad for Windows. And as you can see here, we have all our text parameters we selected. And that's the reason I suggest to select this first, so that we can have it on top. To create a tab that will display only our text parameters, we add this right after our first text parameters. Page equal the name of the tab, and in this case I'm going with controls. Let's scroll down and I'm going to leave the outline parameter inside this tab as well. Now we want to create another tab for glow and our brightness. Here again, page equal glow and brightness. And the last tab is our background, and we're going to follow the same procedure. Let's save it. Back to DaVinci, search for our text animation, and now we have everything organized. Alright everyone, hope you learned something new. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you want more content like this. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips and tutorials. See ya!